Hello, my name is Hyun. I am the author of the book, The Complete Guide to U.S. Stock Investing with纽约居民 in Korean, and I think this is what it says here in Chinese. They only gave me a book cover, so I don't know what the actual book looks like. This book, I wrote this book in the fall of 2020. And the book got published right around Christmas. So it took me less than 2 months to write it because I wrote this book with a very clear objectives. I wanted to educate people on how the US public equities market work and how to read company filings. In the book, I bring in real investment cases, actual filings, the real stock market events, so you can understand things with context and apply it in your real world investing. I was an active investor by profession. And after over 10 years of experience in corporate finance, everything I learned about public equity investing really comes down to three things. One, you will have good times and bad times, which means sometimes you will buy low and sell high, but other times you will buy high and sell low. Two, the market will also have good times and bad times. Three, your main investment goal in the long run, and if you're really going after that alpha, is to have good times when the market is having a good time, and even better, you want to have a good time even when the market is having a bad times. And the only way to really do this is to do your own research. And this requires understanding of the US markets and how to read company filings, which is why I wrote this book. So I'll talk about how the book is structured. Let's see. Chapter 1 is called Do Not Dive into the US Stock Market Unarmed. Not knowing how the US public equities market works and not knowing how to read what's disclosed by these companies is like going to fight a battle barehanded when everybody else is carrying a gun. And remember, we're talking about public companies, public equities, which means everybody is trading on public information, except you if you don't know about it or you don't know how to make sense of it. So this chapter is meant to give you a full overview of the US stock market, who the players are, the buy side, the sell side, corporate America, the SEC, the retail, the institutions, and why you as one of these market players should care about all this. Chapter 2 is called the US Corporate Disclosures Case Studies. See, there are hundreds of corporate disclosures that every publicly listed US company is required to file in various situations. And here I introduce the most important ones you need to know. I start with S1 and S11. These are the IPO filings when a company goes public. The 10K annual reports, 10Qs and other quarterly disclosures like the earnings call, the earnings releases, investor presentations, and then there are 8Ks. They're proxy, merger proxy, how to read 13D, 13G, 13Fs, to understand the institutional ownership, forms 3, 4, and 5. These are insider transactions. Form 10, which is when a company does a spinoff. And for every one of these filings, I explain with a real life case study. You'll go through a company's filings with me. We'll read through line by line and just figure out how all these things led to a certain price action, what it means to stock price going forward, and all that fun stuff. Chapter 3, how to read company financials. In this chapter, I talk about valuation. I give you a sample valuation model, step by step. We do some math. And then we talk about valuation multiples, how to understand the P multiples, the PEG ratios, the EBITDA multiples, the EBIT. And then I explain how to read the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statements. And there's a case study for every sector because every sector, every company is different. And then there are different nuances you need to understand when reading their financial statements because they're not all the same. I try to be practical as possible, so I present case studies of company in the consumer, retail, IT, hotels, REITs, the real estate sector, and I go over the financials for each and what to look out for. This chapter focuses on how to make sense of each major corporate events like M&A, IPO, SPAC, stock split, dividends, dividend cuts, the suspension, bankruptcy, spin-offs, split-offs, and I go into details about each case, how to analyze these events through public filings. Chapter 5, how not to lose money, portfolio strategy. This chapter, I talk about the realities of stock investing, how best to approach it at a portfolio level, and what are the key risks you need to manage, and I talk about some principles to investing. And the last chapter, chapter 6, this is on trading strategies, and talk about the basics. And I introduce catalyst trading, macro trading, trading on the headlines, earnings play, and other event-driven approaches to trading and case studies to learn from. So who should read this book? Everybody who's serious about investing and about the U.S. stock markets. And this can range from an average retail investor who wants to understand how things work, but also institutional investors, bankers, analysts, traders, investment managers who want to know how the U.S. stock markets really work. And to be honest, a lot of the content in this book I had to figure out on my own on the job when I was first stationed into my little cubicle or trading desk as a junior. So this can be a very helpful guide for young professionals or those of you preparing for a job in corporate finance, investing, banking. And I can also tell you who should not read this book. This book does not tell you how to make your first $1 million in 2 days. I don't tell you which stocks you should buy so you can buy your next Lamborghini. It's not one of those books that tell you how to get rich quick. I talk about a lot of things very fundamental to corporate finance that are so classic that anyone approaching investing seriously absolutely must know. To wrap this up, I am very honored. I'm very honored that this book is now being read beyond just the Korean readers. I really hope this book can be a helpful guide to readers and investors in Taiwan. I'm always open to feedback and communications from readers, subscribers, so please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, comments about the book. Leave your comments in this channel or this video, and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you and happy reading. Definitely need a studio. Okay, we'll start again.